Okay, today we're talking Star Wars The Last Jedi, an R-rated Spawn movie. Is Logan really going to be set in an alternate timeline? And Ben Affleck not directing the Batman? No! You are listening live, uninterrupted, unedited, and unscripted to the Movie Room Show. I'm your host, the mighty Rachmaninoff. And this is the show where I'll basically break down what's going on in the world of movies, some TV, and whatever else matters to me, or in some cases, hopefully to you. As always, I invite you to interact with the show via Twitter at Real Movie Room. Go to the Facebook page /The Real Movie Room, or email the show at therealmovieroom@gmail.com. It's been a while since I've recorded one of these shows, so most of these topics are pretty old, as in a couple months. In some cases, maybe a couple weeks, but I've wanted to kind of touch on them a little bit. So I'm going to start off with Star Wars. Got its official title some weeks back, and they called it The Last Jedi. And when I first heard this, as I'm sure most people, I kind of thought to myself, so who's the last Jedi, or, what are they referring to? Is it Rey? Will Luke train Rey? And then something happened, and she ends up being the last Jedi, or are they talking about Luke being the last Jedi, and maybe the movie revolves around him? Well, it took, if I remember right, less than 24 hours after they made that announcement, that it is indeed Luke being the last Jedi. So that kind of gives me hope that it seems like it's going to be a pretty Luke-centric movie, and I think most Star Wars fans would agree that that's probably a good thing, considering the hype, I think, that we all had about seeing Han and Leia and Luke in this new Star Wars movie, finally, 30 years later, only to have those dreams kind of crushed by a third by only seeing Luke in literally the last 30 seconds of the movie. So, literally, he's in the title, he's being referenced in the title, so that's going to be good to see what happens, that whole dynamic between him and Rey, and so that's pretty exciting. It kind of brings up then the question of what exactly they're, what they're going to what they're going to do going forward. And that, of course, is in reference to the passing of Carrie Fisher at the end of last year. They had said that, all her scenes in The Last Jedi were completed, so she had wrapped on the movie. So there will be no need for digital enhancement like they did in spoiler alert, Rogue One, if you hadn't seen it. But and that I could probably go into another whole video about, that whole thing, the digital rendering. And the filmmakers have also come out and said that they're not going to be doing that in episode 9, which means if in fact they stick with that, that means Carrie Fisher's last appearance as Leia will be whatever happens to her character is set in stone or was left open at the end of this upcoming movie. That'll be the last time we apparently see Leia in a Star Wars movie. And I'm just kind of wondering, what's that going to do? If that's going to kind of throw them off track a little bit. I can't believe it would be that much. But you never know. Because who knows? And I don't know how much of a part she's going to have in this upcoming movie, but let's not forget, she is the main antagonist's mother. So, and they both have a big part in the Star Wars legacy and the saga. So it's gonna be interesting to see if they're gonna have to completely maybe change their perspective for episode 9, or was Leia's fate sealed perhaps at the end of this upcoming episode 8? Who knows? Somebody knows, not me. We can all speculate. I think at this point the movie won't come out for another 10 months. So, but yeah, as far as The Last Jedi, I think I kind of got off track. I'm okay with the title. There's no verb in the title. Just like A New Hope, The Phantom Menace. But other titles have had verbs, and I saw there was a big thing about that. And so yeah, it's not like the most exciting, title for a Star Wars movie, but it makes you think. Now, personally, I don't think they should have come out and said, well, Luke, no, it's Luke. Luke's the Last Jedi. I would have preferred them to just kind of left it open. Because who knows? Who knows? It's 50-50, really. A lot of people think Luke's not going to make it out of episode 8. A lot of people think he'll make it through to the end of episode 9, and then who knows what who knows. But I think it would have kept us guessing a lot more if they wouldn't have said, well, we're not saying. But the movie revolves, or the movie's main, plot will involve this Last Jedi. Is it Rey? Is it Luke? Who knows? And I think that would have been a good mystery to go into the movie thinking about for this next year. But what's done is done, so now we know that it is indeed Luke is the Last Jedi, and I can't wait to see the movie. I'm going to take 50 seconds. Rogue One, if you haven't seen it, skip ahead 50 seconds. I'm not going to take any more than that. I liked it. I thought it was great. Again, spoilers. I'm going to throw out some spoilers just because I need to. I liked the movie. And look, I'm not going to mess around. I love the end. I love the ending, whether it was adding on at the very end, the shooting. The Darth Vader scene was epic to me. I would go, and I have gone and seen the movie again just for the last 10 minutes of that movie, 5 minutes, whatever it is. I loved it. I'm not going to go into any more about it, but see Rogue One before it leaves theaters. And do it in 3D also. Okay. So I wanted to touch on this. This I also found kind of exciting to me. Um, Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn, had made a comment to or on um, Kevin Smith's show that's name escapes me right now. But it's basically about, like, it's not Comic Book Men. It's another show. I'm not even sure. I don't even know if it's canceled or what. But I don't know if it was Kevin Smith or if it was Greg Grunberg talking to Todd McFarlane, who created Spawn. And they were talking about this rumored reboot that was supposed to be coming, who knows, sometime. And McFarlane, I don't have the exact quote. I wrote down, he said it will be rated R, because that's the big thing now with Deadpool and Logan coming up, which I'll get to in a little bit. The big rated R comic booky movies, which frankly Spawn should be rated R. But McFarlane described it as a scary, badass script. And that's encouraging to me, because anybody who remembers the 1997 Spawn movie, I would say I'm not alone, and I think I speak for most of you guys when I say that it was kind of underwhelming. And it was. To me, I can barely sit through the whole thing now. But I took some redeeming qualities. I mean, for 1997 special effects, I didn't think the effects were that bad. His cape was pretty cool. Yeah, I liked the suit. I'm not like a big into the Spawn lore and everything, so I don't know if that was exactly how it was done in the comic. But it was visually cool. Some of the shots were pretty sweet. It was just, it was a PG-13 movie, so they had to kind of kiddie it up a little bit. There was the whole John Leguizamo clown throwing out fart jokes and just middle school humor. That kind of got tiring. But if they're gonna do a serious, gritty, R-rated Spawn, like the animated Spawn from HBO, and I can't even remember, that was in the late 90s too. I loved that. That show it was a cartoon, it was animated, like I said. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, you can find it on DVD. It's from HBO. HBO did it, and it had that visceral and violent, dark. It was real dark. And Clown he was creepy. He was scary, and it was like the comic come to life, only in animation. But that's the Spawn I wanted to see in live action. The one they gave us was very commercial. It was very safe. So now that Todd McFarlane's talking about bringing him back to the screen, R-rated, scary, and if he's talking about Spawn being scary, then that makes it even better. Because it's like, sure, we've seen plenty of scary clowns, but you do a scary hero of the story, or anti-hero, whatever you want to call him. I think that would be sweet. So I'm very excited to see an R-rated Spawn, and let's hope it's as badass as Todd McFarlane says it is. Okay, so in about a week, in 1 week, Logan's gonna hit the theaters. I've been trying to avoid because there's the pre-screenings already, and there's reviews up on YouTube. I'm of the mindset to where I'm now going to try to avoid, because I used to watch those things as soon as they would pop up, just because I was curious. Well, I discovered that, sometimes that's not a good thing, because when I would watch the reviews for Batman v Superman, for example, and they weren't coming in very good, or they were just like kind of so-so, that it kind of made me, I lowered my expectations. Instead of going and thinking, my God, this is going to be the best superhero movie I've ever seen in my life, I saw those reviews, and it was kind of like, man, okay, so I'm going to be looking for this and this and this that they said were the weak points, and it kind of took away for me. Now, I liked the movie. I didn't love it. Could have been a lot better, and I've said this, but again, it took away from the experience a little bit. So I've watched one review, and the people liked it, and I'm hoping. So I'm going into Logan with an open mind. And from the trailers that have been thrown out there, I mean, it's so independent looking. It's so like a gritty drama that just happens to revolve around this X-Man who happens to be a superhero or, a comic book character. And so it's it doesn't seem like a superhero. There's a couple of like forest scenes, or the forest scenes where it's like running through and like taking out dudes left and right. But there's no, from what I remember, there's no like explosions or nothing. If you didn't know who Wolverine was, you had no clue at all. And you watched this trailer, it wouldn't even occur to you that it was a superhero movie or an X-Men movie or even an action movie. I think a lot of people would say, it was a little action, maybe a couple fights, but it looks very, very grounded and very dramatic. And the trailers were done really good, I thought. It doesn't really give away much of the plot, so you're kind of guessing like what's going on. What does he mean when he say the mutants are gone, and what's wrong with Professor X? Obviously he's older. He's in the one trailer he references he refers to himself as being 90, and obviously Logan is, his healing factor is diminished. It's like, why? You don't know that, and they don't give it away in these trailers. But the one thing that made me wonder was a quote from Hugh Jackman where he was talking about the movie, and he talked about it, maybe even being set in an alternate timeline, apparently apart from the this whole X-Men universe that we've seen over the last 16 years. So that kind of got me wondering. Up until then I was like, really, whatever. I'm still excited for the movie, but it's just kind of like, well, if it's set in an alternate timeline, I'm sure the movie is good on its own, but I'd kind of like to tie it up with this character that I've seen in however many movies now. 7? 6? 7? But again, I don't think it takes away from the movie, and I think personally, by what I think is, you could probably look at it as either way. There'll probably be things you can look at, and if you really think, oh well, this fits in with the timeline decently. Again, though, it depends on what the storyline takes and where they go. So, I don't think it's going to take away from the movie going experience for me. It just kind of made me pause and say, I've heard it's a great. From what I heard, it's a good swan song. It's a nice final act. One last time was the big thing they were toting. The last time Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. But I just had to kind of step back and so this might not even tie in with anything. And that might not be a horrible thing, I suppose. Okay, last thing I'm going to cover today is this whole DC Extended Universe mess that's going on. Again, I haven't made a video for literally months, and especially since my last two videos were Star Trek 50th anniversary special shows. I haven't talked about anything since October of last year. And since then, the Flash movie that was originally supposed to be directed by Seth Grahame-Smith lost Seth Grahame-Smith. Then they hired the director of Dope, Rick Famuyiwa. I'm not exactly sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm just going by what I'm reading. Famuyiwa. And then, the end of October, he ducked out over, of course, creative differences. And of course, a few weeks ago, Ben Affleck starts talking about, well, the script is still being written for the Batman, and and then he throws out the idea, well, I might not direct it if I don't feel good about the script, or whatever. And people were like, oh man, that must mean the script is in trouble. And then not even, I don't think, a week later, then he's out. And then he said he's not going to direct it. And that just kind of blew my mind. Then, to make matters even worse, as if that couldn't be bad enough, then they get into talking about Matt Reeves, who has directed the last two Planet of the Apes movies. And it's like he was the front runner. Then it was, well, they're negotiating, and he's going to be the next. And the very next thing you know, then the talks with him dissolve. So I'm not going to pretend like I know what's going on, but it almost seems kind of clear to me that Warner Brothers has a huge problem in this DC Extended Universe division, or whatever they do there, whatever you call it. They have a problem. You're losing directors on one movie, then your other movie that is supposed to be the foundation of your entire the entire entity, Batman, which has been your bread and butter for DC characters and heroes over the last 3 decades. The guy you have, one of the hottest directors in Hollywood, you got him to be Batman, and by a lot of people's accounts, probably majority of people's accounts, killed it in Batman v Superman, and is possibly the best Batman we've ever seen. And then you're going to get him to direct the Solo movie. Not a movie with Flash and Cyborg and Wonder Woman, or not a movie that features Lex Luthor and Superman and Lois Lane. A solo Batman movie that has been, like I said, the bread and butter of the DC Comics Warner Brothers marriage. Then he decides he can't direct it. Then you start to talk to another hot director, and then he takes his name off the table. There's something wrong. I don't know what it is. I mean, I can guess, and what I'm going to guess is that the big wigs at Warner Brothers are sticking their nose in and are doing something to these scripts and are saying, this is the way we want to do it. Whatever that way is not sitting well with the likes of Seth Grahame-Smith, Rick Famuyiwa, whatever, Ben Affleck, Matt Reeves. I mean, and I understand there's never been a Flash movie, but a character like that and the possibilities. Look at the TV show, The Flash, which I think is an exceptional TV show and by far the best of the CW quartet of shows. You can do so much with time travel. Flash has got an interesting rogues gallery. It could be a franchise up there with, not maybe on par, but up there with Superman and Batman. And you can't keep two directors? I just, again, I don't know what it is, but man, I really wish they would figure this out. Because I have been a DC fanboy for almost 30 years. And this whole extended universe, I mean, this is what I've waited my whole life to see. And it's mediocre at best as of right now. And we've still got Wonder Woman in the can, Justice League. If it's not wrapped up, it had to be soon because it's coming out later this year. So we got these two movies coming out, and there's been big hype for them. And I think with Justice League, I mean, I don't want to say it's resting on that movie's shoulders, but I think it might be. I really do. Because Wonder Woman, look, Wonder Woman could be amazing, and everybody will be like, oh, thank God, and, okay, now we can look forward to this. Then you have Justice League, and we'll see. Or Wonder Woman could be as mediocre as Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman, and everybody will be like, well, okay, there's another one. But we've still got Justice League. Either way, it's going to come down to Justice League. And, this is DC's Avengers. I mean, this is the movie that brings all these heroes together and should be this massive, epic event that is going to be so cool, just like Avengers was with Marvel. And I feel like if DC drops the ball with the Justice League, I think anything's possible then. Who knows what's going to happen. But with The Flash losing two directors, and now Ben Affleck, and Affleck he's a stated, noted Batman fan. It was supposed to be him and Jeff Johns co-writing this movie, and then Affleck directing it. How can the script not be to Affleck's liking when he's the one doing the script? I memean, I kind of find it hard to believe that him and Jeff Johns are like clashing. I mean, Johns he's a comic guy. I don't get it, and I think there's something that is going on. I think Affleck doesn't want to. He's not going to tell the truth. I think his initial excuse was, I just feel like I can't act the part while directing and be able to give my full performance as Batman, as the character, if I'm too busy directing and this and that. I mean, come on. I appreciate the dude's passion for Batman, I really do, which is why I was so excited for him to direct the movie. But I'm pretty sure he directed a little movie called Argo that won Best Picture a few years ago. He directed The Town, which was an exceptionally good movie. He was the star in both of them, and he was great in both of them. It didn't diminish his performance. He acted and directed excellently, and they went hand in hand. And so, sorry, but that's not the reason he's not directing this movie. He doesn't like the script, and I have to think that he doesn't like the script because the Warner Brothers guys are tweaking it and doing this and that to his script that he doesn't like. And now I'm hearing buzz about he might want out of the whole thing. He might want out of being the character, period. And if that happens, then, man, they might as well just go back to square one. Because it feels like this thing is spiraling out of control. And we're going to find out this summer with Wonder Woman. I mean, Wonder Woman's first up. And if that doesn't make an impact, again, the trailers for that movie look amazing. It looks like it's going to be great. But so did Suicide Squad. And so did Batman v Superman. And we see what happened with those. So, man, it's going to be a ride. Alright, guys. That's going to about do it for me. Beginning of March is going to be awesome for movies. We got Logan coming next week on March 3rd. Then the week after that, which I haven't really spent any time talking about, but Kong, Skull Island, which I'm really excited to see. I think it looks really good. I liked Godzilla. This new Kong that is apparently as big as Godzilla. It looks really good. And I'm really anticipating that. So that's a week after Logan. So I got some movies to see. I saw Doctor Strange. I've seen it twice the last 2 weekends, finally. And that movie was excellent. That blew me away. It was visually great, and I loved the ending. I loved what they did at the end. So yeah, good times. All right, I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna throw a poll up on Twitter. It's up right now, and it's been up for a day or so. And basically, it's this. What is your confidence in the DC Extended Universe? And you got 3 choices. A, 100%. Like, maybe you loved Batman v Superman and you loved Suicide Squad, and you don't think DC can do any wrong. You think you like the way the tone is, and you're looking forward to the entire universe no matter what. B, it depends on Wonder Woman and Justice League. Maybe you thought the first 2 movies in this universe were so-so, and maybe if Wonder Woman and Justice League blow you away, then your mind will you'll get a little bit more positive about it. Or C, reboot. Just blow up the whole thing. Dump the Man of Steel Superman. If Ben Affleck doesn't want to play Batman, then the hell with him. Recast the whole thing, reboot it, and start from scratch. So those are your choices, guys. Again, interact, please, with the show. Twitter, find it at Real Movie Room. Go to the Facebook page, like the Facebook page, share the Facebook page, /The Real Movie Room. and email the show with questions, comments, critiques. Let me know how I'm doing. Stuff you want talked about on the show. therealmovieroom@gmail.com. And if you hopefully like this video, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. I'm trying to get some subscribers, and if I know a lot of people like what I'm doing, then I'll keep doing it. If not, well, then I guess it's for me and you. But that's going to do it for me, guys. And until the next time, I'm Rachmaninoff. Now I'm done.